Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, this is not the video about the big project that I've been working on. That video is still coming, it's just the work has been slow going. I am, however, very aware that it has been several weeks since I uploaded a video, and I wanted to rectify that. And fortunately, I got my hands on something that would allow me to do something really quick, but still cool to show you guys. So I got my hands on some of the Gundam Card Game box sets that have the Gundam Assemble miniatures. So, without further ado, let's go to the table and check them out. What I have here today is I was able to get my hands on the Heroic Beginnings box in the Zeon's Rush box. So we're going to start with the Heroic Beginnings and then move on to Zeon's Rush. Now I've got very nice front box art. This is the kind of stuff you see on the normal, where it's just the deck, but then it's got the additional tie-in for the Gundam Assemble game. It's supposed to come out next year, I think. And just description of what's inside. Her open. And we've got our stuff. We'll get the box out of the way. We've got what I suppose is the main event for the box, or it's supposed to be. It's the deck here. But we got our Gundam Assemble sprues that we'll check out in a minute. I knew we were supposed to have some other stuff in there. And here it is. It's not missing. Because we got this little... I guess it's not really even a booster pack. Because I believe this holds a single card. And we got... instructions for our miniatures. And I believe rules for the card game. For me, what I'm most excited about is the miniatures, so we'll take a look at the cards first. I was really into cards when I was younger. I was into Yu-Gi-Oh! When I was like in elementary school. And I did Magic the Gathering in middle school and high school. So these are some really... The presentation of just this foil Gundam card right up front is really nice. Trying to see what's the best way to get this band off the cards without hurting them is. Looks like it's... It's like on the... Got some sort of like counters for gameplay. Got a couple foil Gundams. The foil cards look textured. Really nice. The backs of the cards. Nice bright color palette on the back. At least in most of the card games I'd played, you know, Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! Had a kind of dark on the back, so that's a change. So couple foil Gundams, and we have a foil Ariel from Witch from Mercury. And looks like the rest of the cards in this deck are just your standard semi-gloss print. A bunch of mobile suits. Got some your white base units, got some gems. Got some Witch from Mercury mobile suits. Got our pilots. That's important. Yeah, the artwork on these is really nice. I like the presentation, and the organization seems clear and easy to read, even if I don't know the rules, so I don't know what any of this means. But, clear text. I'm assuming these statistic numbers, well, they're going to be important, and they're prominent and easy to read, but not in the way. Oh, we got some ships. There's the white base. And this is supposed to be the school from Witch from Mercury, or the card representing it. And that looks like that's the deck. That's the deck itself. And this is... on the backs of these are even different. These are like auxiliary, like general, well, it says resource cards. Don't know what these are. We got more cards for the white base, so unit tokens. It's interesting. But don't know the significance of those. I'm sure if those of you who might have seen the instructional materials they're putting out ahead of the card game's release might know. I'm sure I'll find out eventually. I'll probably learn how to play since I got a couple decks. Now let's take a look at these sprues. Get the cards out of the way real quick. Kind of got your standard packaging for Gunpla. Interestingly, in Gunpla fashion, our bases are on sprues. If you've done anything like Warhammer or similar, typically the bases are already on their own, and they're like in a separate little baggie. And it looks like each miniature has its own sprue. So our A1 sprue here is Butterfingers. Our Gundam. I wonder if they did this for the English release, but typically with the sprues when you're building Gunpla, the label for what the sprue is for is printed in Japanese, so you have to know your katakana to read it. But this clearly says in English, you know, RX-78-2 Gundam. And I will say the plastic quality is, you know, somewhat expectedly, but it is really nice. It's at least as good as Citadel Miniatures quality, if not better. Because I am I am looking for mold lines, and I'm not seeing any significant mold lines. Because that's not a mold line. I don't know that you can see it on camera. That's a panel detail down the side of the leg. Yeah, this is really clean. It should make it the painting process a lot simpler, because I've painted mecha miniatures before, because one of my favorite IPs has been BattleTech, but I gotta tell you, the quality of the plastic BattleTech miniatures does not compare. It's really soft Chinese plastic. The details are soft, and a lot of them have mold slippage, so there's, like, if you've worked with miniatures, you know what I'm talking about, where something that's supposed to be a flat plane is shifted like that, and there's almost nothing you can do about it if it's serious enough. So we'll set our Gundam aside for our gun tank. I also kind of appreciate these all look very simple and straightforward to put together. If you've ever put together a Warhammer miniature or anything else from Citadel, they are very typically, you need the instructions to put those things together correctly, because it's not obvious a lot of the times how the parts are supposed to together. This is very clearly, like with the gun tank, put the back half to the front half, put these on its shoulders, and then put those on the sides. You have your gun tank. 6 parts. Very simple. Also, again, very nice sharp detail. Very slight mold lines, but so slight I wouldn't even be surprised if when you put a primer coat over it, it disappears. I would not be surprised. And finally, we have our gun cannon, which is designed to sit in that prone, leaning over an edge, shooting the its namesake cannons that you see in the original Gundam opening animation. And it's kind of weird. You see it in the box art, how this ground it's bracing itself on kind of goes off the edge of one of these bases here. And you can see it's cut out for that on the bottom. So that's interesting that the miniature is designed with the intent of it going over the edge of the base. So yeah, all this is really cool. Excited to paint that. We'll put it back in its bag for now. We'll put it... go back. Go back in the bag. Yeah, before I forget, I do want to find out what is in my bonus pack. I guess there's 16 different possibilities of what might be in here, so it's been a long time since I've opened up a card pack like this, so and most of them would have like 10 cards or whatever in there. 5 cards, 10 cards, 12 cards? I don't know, it's been a while, but not typically 1 card, so I'm trying to be careful. Because this boy is in there by itself, and I don't want to... so it's a foil alternate of one of the cards that we had already seen in the deck. That now that's not all stuck together with the this thing, doesn't want to come out. Come out. There goes all the stuff I put away. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah. It's the same as that card, just Mjorne Rembrandt here is still in the, well, not semi-gloss, full gloss on the foil background. So that's kind of neat. Alright, so that was the Heroic Beginnings Gundam Card Game plus Gundam Assemble box. We're going to move on to the Zeon's Rush now. Alright, here we go. Zeon's Rush. We'll, a little too deep with the knife there. Okay. Nice and easy. Come on. Okay, got all our stuff. I'm assuming this is the same stuff as was in the instructions for as the Heroic Beginnings box, just the Zeon's Rush version rather than Heroic Beginnings. We got our bonus pack, and we got our deck, which we can quickly take a look at. Looks like I got another copy of those counters. Back here. And again, we got a nice foil Sinanju, couple foil Sinanjus, and a couple foil Char Zaku 2s. Really like the effect and the texturing on these foil cards, and I didn't mention it with the Heroic Beginnings deck, but the foil cards definitely feel like thicker and more rigid than the like these don't feel cheap, but whatever they've done with the foil process makes them feel real rigid. Some Gira Zulu, regular Gira Zulu, Gaza D. Sometimes I forget the Gaza series appeared in Unicorn. Associate it with Double Zeta mostly. The Draw. And here's our first gun, Zaku 1. Somehow even more of a grunt suit than the main grunt suit, the Zaku 2. Got our Goof. We got our pilots. Basically, Char and kind of Char. Yeah, the artwork on all these is really nice. Really nice presentation on all these cards. You got Ramba Ral with his Goof. The Revula. So, yeah. So it seems like the decks feature the main bases of the main characters that appear in the decks. So there's White Base in the Academy for Amuro and Suletta, respectively, in the Heroic Beginnings deck. And then this deck has the Rulula and the Falmel for Full Frontal and Char, respectively. And like before, we got these general resource cards. And I imagine there'll be unit tokens for... Yeah. So that's our deck. I suppose before we move on to the miniatures, we can remember to take a look at our bonus card real quick. I imagine it'll probably be like before, where it's going to be a foil version of one of the cards we just saw in there. Again, trying to be real careful because there's just a single card in this pack. I don't want to bend it. This little, there we go, packaging is even less forgiving than the Heroic Beginnings one. So we've got, yep, a foil version of that Angelo card we had seen in there. And I have to do that again to get those out of there. Yep. So yeah, and just like before, we got the character art in full gloss with that foil background. Real neat. Yeah. Try putting the single card that came in under the deck. I don't know if it'll work. Try and take... It happened with the other single from Heroic Beginnings where it's kind of bowed from being in here by itself. So... And we got our Gundam Assemble miniatures. It's going to be less variation than the last set, because the Zeon's Rush is a bunch of Zaku's. There's a couple different poses of your standard Zaku 2. And then Char's Zaku. So we got our 3 bases on a sprue again. And right here, this is a standard Zaku 2. And looks like this is the one hefting a Heat Hawk. Again, really nice detail. A little more noticeable panel lines than I'd seen before with the Heroic Beginning. Or not panel lines, mold lines. Again, I don't know if the camera catches it, but there's a mold line running along, I guess, the Zaku's calf there and along its thigh. It might be because it's a more complicated curve. And it's a little more noticeable, and unlike the one I had seen on was it the gun tank or the gun cannon? I can actually feel that one with the pad of my finger, so that might take some sanding. But really nice. This one right here is another standard Zaku. This one with the giant bazooka. And this one doesn't have the same... I guess that might be a mold line right there. But it's hard to tell if that's a mold line or just like a swirl in the plastic that you sometimes see. Really clean and crisp. And again, like before, really clear without having to guess how this is supposed to go together. Maybe a little more complicated than, you know, like especially the gun tank, but very clear slots and not a lot of ambiguity. And I like that it's slots and not flat. Citadel miniatures, when you're assembling them, have like a lot of flat on flat joins, which are, in my opinion, not fun to deal with. This is all slots. Everything's going to press into each other and stay. Depending on how tight the fittings are, you might technically not need glue, though I think I still would. And our grand finale for our miniatures is Char's Zaku, who's, I guess, the main difference without it being painted is, see the top of the head here has the little antenna that the commander type Zaku 2s have, and he has the Zaku machine gun. Yeah. And this one has the more noticeable mold lines along the leg that we saw on the first Zaku 2 we looked at. And when I say noticeable, again, because I don't know how well the camera's picking this up, it's still, like, it's very slight mold lines. Like, I probably don't even need a knife. I can skip to just sanding. It's just something I was looking for. So when I say noticeable, I mean I can see it, and I can run my finger over it and feel it. But it is, like, nowhere near the worst mold lines I've seen. I've seen worse mold lines on, you know, Citadel miniatures, and of course, while they're pre-assembled, the BattleTech miniatures, as a direct comparison for, you know, mecha, the BattleTech miniatures aren't even in the same league. And so that was our unboxing of two, get that finger, that's four, two of the Gundam Assemble tie-in boxes to the Gundam Card Game. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the contents of those boxes. I look forward to in the future painting those miniatures. However, right now I am focusing on getting that big project that I've been teasing done. I'm hoping to get that done by the end of next week. But it is coming, so look for that upload. And I'll catch you then. Later.